Okay, yay. I'm really excited about this. I can't wait to hear Renee so that I am not that girl that's like, hey, I know nothing about the comp plan. So I appreciate you, Renee. But I'll talk about layered leadership because layered leadership is like I love the system that I have created, and I'm really excited to share with you guys. So when I joined, I'm super red. And when I joined, I remember, oh, perfect. Rachel Jones is on here. I remember when Rachel Jones literally told me after I went diamond, because my OCD is absolutely crazy, and I was in contact with everyone, and I literally had no layered leadership. And Rachel Jones literally said to me, you're going to burn yourself out if you don't, like, stop. Like, I was so one-on-one with every single person. She's like, you're going to burn yourself out if you don't stop. So I really started implementing layered leadership, and I got some of it from Alyssa Bilyeu, but I want to show you guys how I do it, like how I communicate with my layered leadership, and like how I've seen it work so much. So layered leadership starts with my business agreement. And when we post this recording, I'll post that business agreement again. But when I place underneath of somebody, in that business agreement, I explain to them, you are in charge of tagging them, you are in charge of daily contact, you are in charge of all those things, because it takes off that responsibility of me having to do it. And I'm so serious with that business agreement that I see it work right away. Maybe it's because when you send that business agreement, you just have to be very serious with them. Like, I take it very seriously. I'm not kidding. Like, even if I post something, sometimes I do have to throw out reminders until they get in the habit of doing it. So I'll even be like, remember to tag her. Remember, have you talked to her today? When was the last time you talked to her? Like, things like that, just to give them a little reminder of leadership. So that's the business agreement. And then also the really big thing, and I keep seeing people on the page asking us these chats again, so I'm just trying to kind of reiterate them. So I have a downline chat for every diamond and every box diamond. So for instance, if I have a double diamond, all right, so say she's a diamond right now, and she gets boxed for double diamond, they remove that entire downline underneath of the diamond, and they create a new chat. And it's just so that everybody stays really close together. Usually in the chat, there's about 30 people up to a diamond, something like that, and then they'll go up to like 40, and then a diamond will get boxed, and they'll move to another chat. But it's just so that, you have that sideline sister, and that communication is really strong between that entire diamond. But when it comes to layered leadership, so this is how it works, and this is why it's so helpful, is that when I'm in communication with people every single day, I'm in communication with my diamonds, and that's basically it. Like, my diamonds and my personally enrolled, until my personally enrolled, their sponsor just takes over. I mean, there's times where, like, I'll even tell you the example, when I lost Stella, guys, I went completely MIA for 2 days. Like, and my phone did not go off one time. Nobody asked me for help. Everybody stepped up their leadership, and they, some of my personally enrolled were getting their first 4 loyal customers, and I always do shout outs. No, the person that I transferred to them was doing the shout outs. Everybody was all working together, and that's how leadership works. So when it comes to layered leadership, this is how I teach it. So if this is a diamond, I am in communication with a diamond, okay? Then I teach that diamond that they need to be in communication with that ruby, that emerald. Now, it doesn't matter if they're personally enrolled or not. Like, say this ruby is the diamond personally enrolled. We give that emerald the responsibility of being in communication with those two people. So really, when it comes to a diamond, that diamond is really only in communication daily with the ruby, the emerald, and her top line. So it's all, and then for instance, these rubies too, another leader. It's all about just that transfer of communication, so that you're not sitting here constantly communicating with everyone, and it's a trickling down system. And then, for instance, like with layered leadership, we on our team, on the diamonds on my team, at the first of every single month or the second every single month, we do just a video chat, usually in the Facebook Messenger, or sometimes we'll do a Zoom. And every diamond charts their top lines underneath. So every diamond will chart their emerald or their ruby in charting beta. Now, when then we teach that emerald to do the same with them, I have hundreds of charting betas, like hundreds of charts. But at emerald and above, they need to be taught how to do charting data so that they understand charting. Also, at emerald and above, we really start implicating them doing Zoom, and which is awesome, because then all of a sudden on our page, we will have like someone will just post a Zoom that they did with their team, and it actually just shows, like, we tell the emeralds to do that so that people like rubies start getting used to it. Like, start telling themselves like, okay, I need to start doing Zoom. Also, checking in. You know, like when I finally came back on the last day, so I had to come back to the last day after losing Stella, and I started checking in with my layered leadership. I started checking with my diamonds and asking them like how their emeralds are and everything else. You know, for instance, I have an emerald right here next to me. She's an emerald. Hi. Okay. So here's the thing. I asked Sam, I'm like, hey, you know, is everything okay with Hannah? And she's like, yeah, everything's okay with Hannah. Like, everything's completely fine. I asked Hannah, I'm like, hey, Hannah, is everything okay? She goes, yeah, Sam has been helping me completely. Well, Hannah's my personally enrolled, and I wasn't there for her the last 3 days of the month. In that layered leadership, they're all just in communication. So that's the biggest thing. It takes so much time. It gives you so much more time if you create this communication system. It's kind of like how if you had a job before this, we never talked to the CEO. The CEO talked to the regional managers talk to your manager, and your manager talks to you. So that's kind of like the system that I like to create. That way I'm not like all over the place. And since we implicate it so much, when I enroll somebody and I place them underneath of somebody, it's like they don't even talk to me. When I introduce them to their sponsor, I introduce them to their sponsor every single time within that 72 hours. Once that happens, and we explain, like, they will also be mentoring you. This is your direct upline. You know, we are a placement. I'm very open with telling people how we place. It's like, have I put anyone under you? But, okay, for instance, when I put her under Sam, I introduced you to Sam and Danica. You stopped talking to me. She just stopped talking to me, and she's my personally enrolled. She just stopped talking to me because Sam and Danica were like, I got her. They were tagged in and everything. They were in the downline chat. They were helping her. And it takes so much more, gives you so much time and takes so much more responsibility off of you so that you can continue to enroll. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, wait, there is a question maybe. Is it echoing? Was I echoing that whole time? No? Okay. How do you get them to, can you guys hear me? I'm so sorry. It's just Bluetooth. Can I get one of these if you can hear me? Okay. How do you get them to do Zooms in communicating without being a manager? Okay, so everybody gets really weird about this whole like manager thing. So when I hear people, don't be a manager, I kind of feel I'm a little bit not in agreement with that. I actually feel like I'm very good at managing, but I'm not managing to the point where like I am telling them to post and I'm telling them like all these things. I'm more so managing by telling them what they need to be doing at what ranks they are. So I just tell them, you know, at around Ruby usually around Ruby, you know, I expect you to do a Zoom this month with your team because you are turning into a leader. Ruby is a Ruby leader. If you're going to go to Emerald and Diamond, it's a Diamond leader. So I would start doing Zooms now, and it can be about anything. That's another thing is that people are like, what am I supposed to talk about? Talk about posting. Talk about if you get on a Zoom for just 20 minutes about a message that you have sent that it's working, that's just 20 minutes of giving them face-to-face information. And I like to also whenever I tell anybody it's about start doing Zooms, I usually do FaceTime, and I just explain to them, you know, this is a very repetitive business. Even to this day, people ask me what I do Zooms about. I do the same Zooms every single week. How to enroll loyal customers, how to work the pages, how to post, how to talk to distributors. Next week, how to enroll loyal customers, how to work the team. It's just like this repetitive thing. And so for newbies, I just tell them, be like, what do you think is working for you right now? Or I'll be like, your posting is absolutely amazing. I want you to do a 25-minute Zoom with your team about it. And I think that also telling people what to do is kind of a manager thing. But when you tell people what to do, it gives them, you know, people get afraid in this business when they see people so high up as us for presidential diamonds. People get afraid to step on their toes sometimes because they see that we're the leader. But if you tell them to do things that are what leaders do, you're kind of like giving them permission in their psyche. You're not really giving them permission. They could just do it themselves, but you're basically saying, you're like passing the torch, like, here, this is your responsibility now. And people want responsibility is something that we don't even realize sometimes. And like, sounds like you set up expectations and basic job descriptions. Do you have this written down for rank? That's basically exactly it, Renee. Exactly. I do expectations, and I don't have them written down. I could. It's just in my head. But basically, I I could write them down. I can tell you, I can, in the comments when we post this recording, I can write down what I expect from rubies, what I expect from emeralds, what I expect from diamonds, and what I expect from doubles 100%. I just know exactly what I expect, but I can totally write that. Yes, totally. Yes. Does anybody else have any questions about layered leadership or what I do with my chat or anything like that? You can just unmute yourself. I know there's always questions about the chat. I know, I should have a USB for my brain.
LaChelle,
Hi.
when you are introducing, like, okay, if you have any tea places, what are you saying when you introduce people together?
When I introduce them to a sponsor?
Yeah. Like,
okay. So I put them in a group chat. So this is how it works. I message my new distributor, and this might sound like it takes a long time. It takes 2 minutes. I message my new distributor. Okay, girl, you have a sponsor. They are your upline. I am going to introduce you to her right now. And even though like I say this, sometimes it's not exactly how I do it, but I have paired you two specifically together because she has, and I always want to boost them up. Like I always want to boost their sponsor up so that they have that respect before they even know them. She's amazing in this business, and I know that you guys are going to completely connect, but she's going to also help mentor you. Then I put them in a group message together right away, and I tell the sponsor too, like, hey, I'm about to introduce you guys. Hey guys, or I'll be like, hey, I'm trying to remember what I did with you. It's just basically, I don't know, sorry, my brain is great, but I can't remember right now. Hey guys, so-and-so is your sponsor. I want you guys to exchange numbers right now. She's going to be helping mentoring you. She's going to be tagging you in everything that you need to know and walking you through conversations. Don't be afraid to send screenshots in this chat from now on, just so I can also help. But then I'll just remove myself eventually. Or they won't even or they'll just exchange numbers and then not even talk in the chat again. And then I'll just find out that they just FaceTimed or something. And then I also, on the downline chat, right after I introduce them to the sponsor, I put them into the downline chat, and I'm like, okay, hey girl, this is your downline leg chat. This is where you come for all of your questions, and so-and-so is also in this chat, and you can tag her if you ever have questions. You can tag her in the chat. And that's how I do it. But then, within the next day or so, I will ask that sponsor, have you talked to her? I just in my head, I just know that I have to be because when I have personally enroll, those first 72 hours, I am very hands-on with them. So I always have I have my new distributor checklist, and my goal is to get them highlighted. And since this is my OCD, so I have to get them highlighted, guys. So for instance, this is my new distributor checklist. I have to get them highlighted to feel complete.
Okay.
Oh, whatever. Sorry, it's upside down. And so when I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, I introduced them to their sponsor already. And since it's not highlighted yet, I have to be okay, now I have to go ask that sponsor really quick, have you talked to her today? Have you tagged her anything today? So they see that I'm kind of like big brother, and just implementing that I am big brother, they're going to be okay, so from now on, I got to tag her and everything. I got to make sure I talk to her because LaChelle's going to come ask me again, and I can't be no, because she gave me my business agreement. I understand the significance of it.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Will you that sheet in the file section? Your highlighted sheet?
What do you say?
Will you post that sheet?
I really feel like this is my connection. Connor, say it again. I can hear you. Can you type it, Connor?
Can you hear me, Michelle?
Yeah, I can hear you.
He wants to know, go post that sheet, the new DT checklist that you use.
Yeah, I thought I already uploaded it to the files tab. I think it's already uploaded. Let me look.
Yeah, you did already.
Okay, yeah, so it's uploaded to the files tab. I did add I added 2 more columns recently, and I can upload this one too. I think it's saved on this computer. If not, it's on my home computer. Basically, I just added notifications off and business finder because I give my personal enrolled a business finder. And then it says, what do you do when they don't do as expected? So since I have told you guys about how I build 1 leg. So if I'm placing underneath of somebody, they are expected, them or their sponsors expected to build the other side. But when I'm placing somebody under somebody else, I build the executive legs first. So if for whatever reason they aren't doing what expected, and this is a rare thing that happens, guys. Like I told you guys before, I've gotten really lucky with listeners. And you know, you attract youth, and so I attract very business-minded people. Like very rarely does it not happen. Actually, you know what? It did just recently happen. So I enrolled this girl. I placed underneath of her. She did not match me, and I told her sponsor to not place underneath of her. And all I did was not deleted her. I just erased her and moved the person up underneath of her that I see more potential in, and now I'm just building her. But I'm not afraid to also be like, in the business agreement, I say if I can't get 100% yes, say no. I don't know if I told you guys this yet. I think I did on the last Zoom, or maybe I didn't. I don't know. But anyways, okay. So I love international. I love mentoring international, and I just signed somebody in New Zealand, and I thought, you know, she was just going to be a freaking rock star. And I sent her that business agreement, and I told her that if she can't give me 100% yes, I put her in a diamond slot. She's going to be one of my 2 diamonds I needed to go ambassador. I put her in there. I sent that agreement to her. And she goes, can I actually just have a day to think about it? I'm like, well, you have until 9 a.m. because that's where I need to know by 9 a.m. or I can't move her underneath of her. And she messaged me at like 6 a.m. She goes, I just want to let you know that I want to decline the offer, blah, blah, blah. So when you are so serious with them, like, listen, if you can't give me 100% yes, I take the placement very seriously. Don't tell me yes. And she said no. And I appreciate that she said no because I gave her to somebody else that was second runner up that I also think has leadership characteristics. So that's where that business agreement really, you know, if you're wording it correctly, like, and sometimes I change it every once in a while, it's the same thing, but get serious with them. Like, tell them, like, if you can't give me 100% yes, say no, because there's other people in this business that have joined that would love what I'm offering you right now, and I'll offer it to them if you're not serious about it. All right. So I don't remove myself from the chat. So when I create a new chat, so for instance, if I have like a new diamond that just got boxed for diamond, so like I just turn notifications off. So I have 26 of those chats, probably like 21 of them are my notifications are off, because I don't need to be in there because they've already like established their leadership. If it's a new box, I will be in there to watch, and I've had that conversation a ton of times, like a lot, all the time. Hey, you're not active enough in your chat, or hey, you need to be posting more in your chat, or if there's a question in there and I see the question, I'll message them and be like, you have a question in your chat. It's a big brother thing where they know I'm watching. I'm freaking watching you. But I just have my notifications off so that I'm not getting like blown up. So then, for instance, like her upline Sam is pregnant and her leadership is already great, but she's about to have a baby like any minute. And so I turn the notifications on for that chat so that while she's having a baby, I can take over it and just watch it. Yes, I'm sure you did too. But when you're building fast and some sponsors are super new, do you trust to help them? That's the thing, guys. When I was talking about recruiting, when I'm recruiting, like right now, I told you already, I already reached out. I just signed 3 of them. 3 of them in the last week or so. I signed people that I told that I was giving them a leadership spot, meaning I was giving them a placement spot, and I explained to them placement. I'm very open with my potentials about placement. And when I explained to them what they were going to do, I mean, you know if you have a runner. You know if you have a runner potential. And so yeah. I mean, I just tell them that we're going to build fast together. Okay, I think that's it. So they think so jump in. And another thing too that I just so you guys know too is something that I've been doing. Well, actually, I've always done this. So when you're talking your potentials, and I offer that before I even offer that leadership spot, or I start talking about placement or anything, I literally send this message. I have a serious question, and to my potentials that I feel that are leaders, and they'll be like, "Hey, girl, what's up?" I'm like, "Be honest with me. What is your leadership skills from 1 to 10?" And they'll tell me like what their leadership skills are 1 to 10, and they usually send me like an example too. Like I was blah blah blah, blah from whatever. Like I was cheerleading captain, not like that, but something like that. And that's where I kind of like figure out who. That's when I start, and then if they give me like an 8 to 10, that's when I'm like, okay, listen, I have a placement spot for you, which means we will build together. I will help you build your team. I will give you distributors immediately. It is not a given. I am not giving you distributors. You will match me, but this is a spot that so many people would love to be put in right away, and I'm offering it to you. So I just make it sound very exclusive. But if I ask that question and I get a 5, I'm going to be like, okay, well, I was just wondering because I'm definitely considered putting you in a leadership spot. And then I just kind of like back off a little bit. And it creates that curiosity even more anyway. Placement spots I have are the diamonds, emeralds, and rubies. Yeah. That's it. I think that's it. Okay. Renee, how about you teach me how to not be a fool?
Do your steps to success. That's all you have to do.
Really. I do that, but the compensation plan. Sorry, I'm really loud here.
Do your steps to success and fast start, people. That's it. I'm done. So what else should we talk about? No, I mean, seriously, I can go through, and I love to go through it. Like, I can go through and totally get it to you. You can understand, and you can figure out your paycheck, and you can do all of that. But if you're not super green, you don't care. Like, you don't care. Like Adrian's like shaking her head. She's like, yeah, I don't care. Like, I just care that I get paid, you know? And the only time you really need to know like all the details is like, okay, it's month end and I have a diamond and they've lost rank, and should I help them with the placement? Is it going to help my paycheck? Or is it going to hurt my paycheck? And that's about the most important thing that you need to know. It's like, okay, how much money do I place to get to the next rank, or how much money do I help somebody personally enrolled, and is it going to help my paycheck or hurt my paycheck? So generationals are the most things we can go over and talk about that. But truly, if you feel like you need to be able to explain the comp plan for new people, the biggest thing that I like to tell people when I'm talking from a like recruiting perspective is the difference between a retail comp plan and a residual comp plan. And so comp plan wise, when you're talking to prospects, the most important thing is to know, you know, we get paid more than one way. Okay, I'll get to that. Okay, I'll go through all the gens. But I'm going to talk. Keep going. That's good. And I'll probably answer them all, and then we'll go back and make sure. So first thing, I'm going to talk from the prospecting perspective. You know, some people are confused because they'll be like, okay, you know, I was in this other MLM. What do you make on your customers? You'll have somebody ask you that. Like, what percentage do you make? And we automatically think 10 or 15%. And they're like, oh my gosh, I do Mary Kay and we make 50% or something like that. No, we don't make 15%. We make 45% because it's a minimum of 15% for a minimum of 3 months. So you're making at least 45%. But truly what you're making is in other companies that are retail, such as Mary Kay, 31. I mean, almost every other MLM out there other than things like Herbalife that are other auto ships like us, they're basic retail. So if you were to just think of our retail sales, we make 40% plus the 15%. So we're actually making 55% if you sold something straight retail. Somebody goes on your website, they buy straight retail, which I like never do, but they buy retail, you're technically making 55%. You sign them up as a loyal customer, you're technically only making 45%, but as we know, most customers go more than 3 months. So it can be, you know, 60%, 80%, like it keeps going as they continue ordering month after month after month. And that's where true residual income comes in instead of being retail. Does that make sense as far as how to explain it to a prospect why our comp plan is different? And that's not even getting into bonuses and, you know, fast start bonuses, gen bonuses, emerald bonuses, all that kind of stuff. This is just straight commission structure and how our commission structure is different. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so that is the one thing that I think is really important for us as leaders to be able to explain to our teams and explain to prospects how we do that. Okay, so this is exactly what I'll say. I'll say the difference is we are residual versus retail. When you buy from other companies, such as, and I'll give an example, Mary Kay 31, you're whatever company they're doing, they're usually doing a one-time or maybe 2 purchases. And I'll tease and say something like, you know, I own like 1731 bags and things like that. But I can only buy so many. I also own lots of Pampered Chef stoneware, but I only, you know, you can only have so many pizza stones. And I'll say, you know, but with ours, when somebody loves the greens, they buy it month after month after month. And so, yes, we make 15%, but that's month after month after month that we're going to continue making that. So that becomes a minimum of 45% because it's a minimum of 3 months, but it continues. Our average loyal customer, our company says, is 7 months, but I find that people usually either do 3 months or they're for life. And you guys may have found that same thing. We either get those customers who do the 3 months, turn it off, you know, order Fat Fighters last month, or they continue to get on the greens, they get on ThermoFit, and they absolutely love it, and they're buying it, you know, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years later. And so I say, you know, we make the sale once, and we continue to provide good customer service, but I'm not having to sell to the person every single month. And I did a post on my profile at the end of last month that talked about, you know, 83% of the customers that ordered on my team last month were residual. They were not new loyal customers. So 83% of my income was straight residual income last month. And who doesn't want that? You know, so you're not having to go out and make that sale. So does that make sense? I really try to, when somebody comes at you with that kind of like comp plan question, a green comes at you, you just have to know what they're asking. And what they're asking, you know, when they say, what percentage do you make? It's like, wait, our comp plan is different. Let me talk to you about all the ways that we get paid, because that's not even, that's, you know, the 45% is just the beginning. On a retail purchase, we make 55%. And so make sure that you're not answering the wrong question. Because what do you make? Oh, 15%. Oh, well, then I don't want to do this. No, we make 55% or 45%, and that doesn't include our wrap cash and our bonuses and all of the rest of the things. So everybody got that? Anybody got any questions on that part? Okay, now the important part, how you get paid. Okay, and this is the number one question I get. My PM box goes off more in the last 48 hours of the month than from outside of my team than inside my team, because everyone wants to know, do I place to promote? Do I place to get there? You know, and I am definitely a place to promote girl. I would not have gotten to Presidential Diamond in 8 months if I did not place to promote, if I did not buy in here and there. You know, I am if it's a 400 box and it needs filled, you know, place an order kind of girl. So, you know, within the rules, because I'm very green, so I definitely play by the rules. But the first one I'll talk about, I'm sure you guys all understand fast start bonuses, because that's a pretty easy one. Okay. Emerald bonus is definitely where I start, because nobody understands the emerald bonus, because it should not be called emerald bonus, okay? It has nothing to do with emerald. It's called Emerald Infinity bonus, and what this is, it's a bonus on level 6 through infinity until it reaches an emerald, okay? So you get paid on level 6 through level 20, 2% of all that volume, unless it hits an emerald. And if it hits an emerald, it stops, okay? But it doesn't stop until they start to get that emerald bonus, and it's their level 6. So you get paid when it hits an emerald, their first 5 levels, and then they get level 6 on down, because only one person can be receiving that 2% bonus on a team or on a box. So you have to, you know, you count down the boxes. As soon as it's their level 6 and they're getting the 2%, your 2% stops. Okay, so it's infinity or until you reach an emerald. Now, a lot of people will go emerald or even go diamond and say, there's no emerald bonus on my check. Well, you can be a diamond and only have 4 levels. You know that? You don't have to have a level 6 to be a diamond. Technically, a diamond is only 4 levels. It would be 5 if they have LCs on the bottom, so it should be 5 levels, but I've seen a diamond that had some orders placed that didn't actually have a level 6, so or have a level 5. But technically, a true diamond, just filling in the boxes, just having loyal customers, has no level 6. So an emerald definitely can have no level 6. Therefore, there will be no emerald bonus on your check, usually until you're kind of a messy diamond or a double, and then you'll start to see that or until emerald bonus is kind of what I like to call it. Does that make sense to everybody? Does everybody get that one? Because that's a confusing one. They need to rename it or until Emerald and not Emerald Bonus because you don't get it because you're an Emerald.
You cut out. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can cut out for a second. I don't know. Did you answer the ones about the 9% of the diamond topping?
Yeah, I haven't done the generations yet.
Okay.
So gens are very different, okay? Gens this is where we love, this is the most important part because it is where our money is, where a lot of our money is. Okay, so it's not actually 9%, and I want you to get that out of your head because when you start thinking 9%, it confuses you because it's never 9% on your check. They're listed in two different places. So you're going to look at your check and you're going to look for a place that's 9%. It's not going to be there, okay? Everybody makes 5% for somebody being your personally enrolled. Now you have to be a diamond in order to get that. So as long as you're a diamond and above, then anybody you personally enrolled who goes diamond and above, you're going to make 5%. And on generationals, it's always of what's called their PBGV. And this is a new thing that a lot of people don't understand, but PBGV is their group volume, but it's their personal bonus group volume. Okay, so it's their personal diamond, like a diamond is its own little grouping. It's their GV minus any diamonds underneath them because they as a diamond make one group. And as soon as somebody goes diamond, kind of like you do with the chat, it moves off. Okay, so imagine on gens that that diamond gets pulled out. So it's the PBGV. So that's for your personally enrolled, it's 5%. Now you get paid generationals based on your rank. So it's just like an executive gets add level 3. You know, if you're a contributor, you get level 1 and level 2. When you go executive, you add level 3. When you go ruby, you add level 4. Gens are the same way. When you're a diamond, you get generation 1. When you're a double, you get generation 2. Now, the difference is levels, I'm level 0, and then people I personally enroll are level 1, okay? Generationals are different. In a generation, in a family, I'm generation 1. My kids are generation 2. My grandkids are generation 3. Sorry. So when I'm a diamond, I'm generation 1. My first diamonds in depth are generation 2. My second diamonds in depth are generation 3. Sorry, guys. I got my tea. Okay, so does that make sense on that you are level 0, but you are generation 1 when you go diamond? So generation 1 is 2%. And if you'll look, there's some really important pages in the comp plan. You don't need to look at the entire comp plan, but there's this one called leadership bonuses, and it's a fancy chart like this. Okay, over here, it's going to tell you the percentages you get paid on each generation. Okay. And so on generation 1, which is you, and when you're a brand new diamond, you're going to get 2% of your entire volume minus any diamond underneath you. Okay, it's not a whole lot, but it's something that you weren't getting paid when you weren't a diamond. So when you're talking to somebody and they're like, what do I get paid extra for being a diamond? That's what they're going to get. They would get their normal paycheck, plus they get an extra 2% of their entire volume just for being a diamond. You know, so if you have no bonus or anything and you're going diamond, that's what their paycheck is going to increase by being a diamond. So when somebody says, how much do I place in order to, you know, go diamond, what makes sense? Normally they're about 10,000 in volume, and so 2%, so $200 is all that they're going to make more by being a diamond. Okay, so normally, you know, we don't want people to place a lot of volume to get there, but it's diamond, so we all do. Okay, so generation 2 is going to be your first diamond in depth, and you make 4% of them. Now, technically, a lot of times those are your personally enrolled, and that's where the 9% comes in, because you're making 5% extra because they're your personally enrolled, plus you're making 4% because they're on generation 2. So this is where everybody says 9%, but as we know, charts get messy, and they're not, the top diamond in a leg isn't always your personally enrolled, right, Adrian? As 4 years later, you start working into depth and, you know, diamonds pop. In the beginning, all my diamonds were my personally enrolled. Like every single one of them were my personally enrolled. And things get messier as you go along. So you're not always going to be making 9%. And this is also why placement is so awesome, because you could have a diamond that's 10 levels down and they're not on your gen chart, but they are your personally enrolled, so you're still going to be making 5% even though they're 10 diamonds in depth. So this is why, you know, placement and having somebody pop as a diamond way down deep is still okay because it's going to do this. Okay. This is where sometimes, everybody following me so far? Okay, to figure out these generations, I draw it out as a chart. So you got to get out pen and paper and draw out your diamonds at the end of the month. And you can do this, you know, how much am I going to make? How much should I place? And I'll show you, this is what I do. I literally draw a chart. So it's like you, and then you've got 3 diamonds across, and I put, you know, this is generation 1, this is generation 2, this is generation 3, and I calculate from the bottom up. So you've got total volume here, and you're going to subtract this person's, this total volume to figure out what you're being paid on. You subtract the volume up to figure out what you're going to be paid on, because you always have to subtract out the diamond underneath that. Okay? Does this make sense? Stop me if it doesn't. So this is the chart kind of that I would draw. I know it's hard to read. I need to do this as like a PowerPoint, but I don't know PowerPoint, so I need to know somebody who does and can like make me a PowerPoint that like flies in and shows all the different percentages. Not fun, yeah. So the biggest thing that can happen is if you've got a diamond that pops underneath, the idea is, say you've got somebody who goes diamond, and then they've got another diamond underneath them. The diamond underneath is the person who's the really strong diamond. They've got the 10,000 in volume. The person above them is maintaining just with the split. They're maintaining just with the 5,000 outside of them. So you're getting 9%, but it's 9% of only the 5,000 because it's subtracting out. So before, when they were the diamond, you were getting 9% of their total volume, but their rock star was really the person underneath them. Was and then that person breaks as a diamond, and if they're 1 month, your calves will go way up, and then all of a sudden the diamond pops, and all of a sudden the gens will go down. So people were like, oh, my paycheck went down. Well, your paycheck was probably not artificially, but it was inflated the month before because all of those calves that were happening as the person was growing and the diamond was popping. And when the diamond pops, the gens may technically go down, but of course we need diamonds in depth to like support our team. We want that layered leadership. We want those diamonds to pop stacked in depth, because when we have diamonds stacked in depth, it is stability. We need it for rank. We need a presidential, we need a triple. But when my presidential popped underneath me, my paycheck went down $7,000, okay? Because it pushed all those generationals, because she popped like a whole line of diamonds, a double and a triple, and she popped it all the same month. So it was like, as it was growing, my gen was huge the month before, because it was this whole stack of volume that technically didn't have any rank to it. And it was, 50, 60,000 in volume, and then all of them, a triple, double, Tuesday days, popped all of them, and everything pushed down. And so my paycheck went down, but it's a cab leg for me. So that month before, the cabs went up. So, and as we know, a lot of times when somebody pops at a rank, those diamonds don't all maintain. Okay, so that first month, it's perfect. We place all the orders, we get everything to 400. Everything is, triple, double, 2 singles, boom, all the way across the board. And then the next month, this diamond drops and this one drops, and kind of all those ones that were pushed that weren't technically, their own diamonds, they technically go back down. So it's kind of an artificial inflation to push you to the promotion, and then it settles back down, and the true leaders who are going to maintain will be there, and you'll kind of figure out what that new paycheck looks like. Does that make sense? You guys following me? I never know, because it's not easy. Yeah, I know you've got them stacked on your top line, Adrian, and that's not always a great thing, but it builds stability for your family. Like, it's gonna technically, when it leaves your paycheck, it's really going to somebody else's paycheck. So when that generation pops, your paycheck may go down, but your son's paycheck's gonna go up. And then when your daughter pops, your paycheck may go down a little bit, but your daughter's paycheck pops. So the way the compensation plan works is really only one person can be being paid a certain bonus at the same time. So where yours lacks, somebody else gains. And that's what happens. They have to spread the money out. They can't just keep paying us on all of it, even though there's layered leadership happening. When that layered leadership happens, those people need to gain those bonuses instead. But you're still rewarded because of the cap part.
Right. Well, how it's stacked is, I didn't know what to do when I did this, but yes, my daughter is under my son, and she promoted to triple diamond. She was running fast, and I was building with her. But now, and then there's, diamonds under her, but there's not, my daughter has had life happen, and I don't have that layered leadership there anymore. So what I did was, this new leg I'm building, I'm like, I just didn't want to give my international new distributor away. So I put it to my son on the second line. So I'm like,
right.
I don't know. I don't want to just give her away to anybody. So
right.
That's what I did. So there's not that layered leadership that was there before. There is a diamond still down in that line. So I was just going to go to build him to double diamond.
Yeah. As you know, in the beginning, our charts were a lot easier. Placement was a lot easier. When, I had somebody message me the other day, and they're like, I just don't even know where to place. I don't even know where to start. My chart is so messy. And I was like, boy, you have no idea. Like, my chart is super messy. That first year, I had it laid out. I had everybody in a perfect box. I knew where everything went. And, sorry, things change a lot, and things get messy, and you have to erase a lot of people, and there's a lot of eraser shavings in our life of the people that we've erased off the chart, or people have left and gone other places. And so I think it gets messy, it goes up, it goes down. And I think the one thing to understand is even if you don't ever be afraid of the stacked diamond. A lot of people get like, oh my gosh, I don't want to stack diamonds because, I'm gonna, my paycheck's gonna go down. I don't want to help them because my paycheck's gonna go down. It's like, try to not be red when it comes to that kind of stuff, because yes, technically it is, but it builds such stability, and it builds that layered leadership in there that, it's kind of a negative, but in the long run, in the stability wise, and what your paycheck is going to be like month after month after month, it's better. It's better to have that stacked. Now, and sometimes we don't know. Like, I've had people I thought were going to be the rock star, and you had it set up just perfectly, where they all pop. Well, it doesn't happen that way. I was placed under somebody's like fourth leg under their friend, thinking I was going to be like, help the girl to get to 400. I don't think I was, she didn't enroll me and be like, oh my gosh, she's going to go diamond in a month, so you just kind of, you never know, and things sometimes pop like that. And so I think we do the best to place. I love the way LaChelle ask them the leadership's questions, and we can kind of find out. I cannot wait to implement those kind of things. I kind of figuring out how with our big team to kind of implement those in retrospectively, but I will. But it definitely, it builds that stability in the long run. But I think when it comes down to it, you have to be able to know how is it going to affect to make about $1,000 off of a personally rolled diamond the first month they're there, okay? Because it's usually 9%. They're often on your top line. So if it's 9% of most diamonds are 10,000 or more, it's between $900 and $1,200 that you're going to make the first time they pop. As they continue to grow, you're getting those cabs, you're getting that, and it's going personally rolled in title boxes, and then those title boxes become diamonds and above.
I just want to start charting the other way that, like LaChelle was talking about, but I had already started my new diamond the way we usually have always done it 4 years ago, tic-tac-toe.
Right.
So now I'm like looking at the chart. Now what do I do?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely a stacker, and I think that's what I kind of call it something different, but I think it's what LaChelle, like, I'm stacking in depth as opposed to going across somebody's top line. Like, I don't ever give anybody two. I'll give them one, they match me. If they don't, I'm going in depth underneath them. I'm going to find the leader, and I move my chart up instead of moving it wide. Like, is that right, LaChelle? Is that displayed in the same way?
Yeah, so I just build the executive leg. When I think of stacking, I think of something completely different.
Well, I think of it as like I'm looking in depth of one leg for a leader to pop in a tackle box, and I'm not afraid to move somebody up and out and go down in depth underneath them. I'm going to find the leader down in depth.
So if I'm building, for instance, if I'm building a Ruby, so if this is the person that I'm placing underneath of them, I'm placing in an executive leg. They have to match me. If I place underneath of them again, I'm placing under them.
Yep, that's exactly.
Okay.
I'm going to go straight down as opposed to filling in like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 if I have to before I go out. Now, the only time I ever do give them 2 and go out is if they sign like 9 loyal customers and they're going to fast start all my people for me. Then I'm like, I'll give you all the DTs you want if you're going to give them all 4 LCs. I've had those LC queens, and they kind of to me are like, I bend the rules, because I sign more DTs than I sign LCs, so I bend the rules for them, because if they're plugging in, they're showing up and they're signing people, to me it doesn't have to technically be a DT. They're signing people. Eventually they'll sign DTs. If they're signing LCs, they'll eventually get there.
And someone did ask me on the page this, and so this is just easy for me to explain. People ask me how I build one leg. So if I place underneath it first, so this is the executive leg from a Ruby chart, okay? So I will build this side and they build this side.
Right.
Okay, just so you guys know. Like, I only build
that's
one
exactly
leg.
what I do. Yeah. I learned very quickly that if you gave somebody 2 people before they did anything, like if I'm great and you signed 3 people in the same week, what we used to teach or what we were taught, Adrian and I were taught, was like we would do 1, 2, 3. So we would build an executive, and then we would place 3 on their top line for Ruby. And so, right, Adrian, like we would make somebody an executive before they matched us. If we signed 3 people in a day, we signed a week, signed 5 people, we would make that person Ruby. We didn't ever stack straight down to have them have an opportunity to match us. We didn't wait to find out. So that was something that I learned, to go straight down instead of just left to right. A lot of people teach like go just left to right, and then fill it in across before you go down, and I go down. So I love that you do the same thing, LaChelle, because normally people are like, what? No, you just fill in the boxes. And I'm like, no, you'll screw yourself that way.
Yeah, because if
the person cancels, I've had a diamond, like a double diamond cancel, and it's like, kill me now,
Yeah, exactly. And I've had that happen, and that's why I stopped doing that, because I literally have, I've bought my parents into 2 legs that happened, where they still have 2 legs going. And I bought my mom into a double diamond spot. Because that was that was literally like, she was boxed her double diamond, and she had no idea because she had quit. And I'm like, hey, can you sign this paper?
By the way, run your auto ship, you'll get paid a lot of money.
Can you send me a picture of your signature? Thanks.
Yeah, no, I had a person who was a double, who ranked as double for my prez, basically walked away after conference and was going to renew, asked to sell. I mean, I even offered to like pay him because he was like a local friend, like give me your spot. Like, and he wouldn't. He absolutely, like I just watched it cancel. Like I just watched the window happen, and he absolutely refused to let anybody buy the box, let anybody do anything. And I just had to like wash myself of that leg and just walk away and start a new leg.
Well, I mean, I had this, when I bought my dad in, I bought him into a difficult DT spot, meaning she was kind of a bitch. And, but her check was already $500 a month. And so basically I just paid her $500 to buy it.
Yeah.
It was worth it because now my dad makes about $1,000 a month and he'll be going diamond this month.
Yeah. Yeah. This guy like was just mean. Like he purposely wanted to screw me. He knew, I mean, he stopped running his auto ship as a high ranking emerald. Like it had rolled back that he paid as emerald, but you know, a double diamond who's paid as emerald is getting paid a high emerald check. He just like, even it wasn't even worth it for him to run your leadership. You know, it's just a jerk. So, but I found somebody in the depth of that leg. Like a year later, somebody messaged me and was like, "Hey, you don't know me, but I'm on your team." And it was like way like 12 levels down in that leg, and she was working. She was like had, I don't know, 20 DTs and wasn't even a ruby yet because nobody had been helping her because I had like washed my hands of that leg because I was so angry about it. So.
What if I already started that, Renee? Like what? Because I have everybody in title positions, but I do have a right side on this new diamond.
Well, I think you still work with the 2 title boxes. You just make sure that you never give anybody else 2. Like I think like LaChelle's idea of getting that business agreement with them and saying like, you're in a title box, do you want this? You know, you don't have to say it like they're already in the title box, but you can say like, okay, I'm rebuilding the team and I would love to have you in a leadership position and set it up. And if they agree to it, great. And if they don't, go in depth. Like you just keep, you know, even if the boxes are already filled, you contact the next person down, or you contact the 3 people that are there and say, which one of you wants to be a leader? Which one of you wants this leadership position? You know, I'm interviewing for leadership positions. And then if they all say no, go, you know, and the problem is with us, you've got people who've been in several years, they just don't answer you, you know, and it's like, okay, don't answer me. I'm going to move farther down. And if that means I have to place really far down into a leg, I'm going to do that because technically to me, level, you know, that we have compression. So somebody can be level 12, but paid as level 1, you know, so all that volume that is messy, that is left in there is all still paid as level 1 if those people aren't commission qualified. You know, people don't have to be canceled in order for compression to happen. It's just when they're not commission qualified. If you go into your, commission statement and you actually click on the detail, you'll see, you know, level 1 paid as level 1, level 2 paid as level 1, level 3 paid as level 1. Like it keeps going all the way down anytime somebody is not commission qualified.
Okay, because I have them in title positions, but I do have that right side going with this girl.
Yeah.
But
well, I think when the chart gets messy, it doesn't. You don't necessarily not have somebody on the other side. It's just that you're going to be more strategic about not forcing somebody into a title position until they've proven themselves. Either they're enrolling on 12C, they enroll a GT. Like, I'll give somebody 1, they need to do the second one. I'll give them their 3rd. If they enroll 1, like, I'll give them the 3rd. You know, I often don't give them their 3rd. I usually give them their 4th. So like I enroll 1, they enroll 2, then I'll give them their 4th for emerald. So I want them, because I'm usually working in depth, and I've technically given them 2 because I've given them somebody down underneath them. Do you know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah, like on this diamond chart, I have girls that are putting in 9, 10 LCs, but nobody's matching me a distributor. So I'm like, they're just going to help me get my cabs.
Right. I mean, and I'll place, like I said, I have taken the time to place 2 and make somebody an executive. I usually won't make them like a ruby or above, but I'll make them an executive when they're enrolling a bunch of LCs, because they're going to fast start my people.
Right. That's what.
And you know, it's $245 for them to fast start. And so, and especially if I'm not sure if those people are really going to like do anything. And usually you're going to find the leader as you're doing that. But I usually won't make them a ruby. Like I'll do an exec, see which one of those is going to run, place under that person. And, you know, sometimes it takes a couple of people in depth to figure out who's actually going to do. And I've never done the leadership agreement. I've never done anything like that. I'm just usually sitting there watching, waiting to see, like, are they going to speak up? Are they going to ask questions? Are they going to call me? Are they going to, you know, I'm waiting to see the fruits of the leadership. I've never asked. I'm usually just waiting to see it. So, yeah. Does anybody have any other comps questions? Do you have questions on cabs or anything? Sorry, there's a baby screaming in the background here. There's a lot of kids running around here. Does anybody have any questions on cabs and how those are paid out? I think a lot of people understand that, but sometimes that's a confusing thing.
I was going to ask you, so I just recently started doing this through Excel, running cab reports. Is there like any certain time a month you do it or anything like that? I just export into Excel and then an email.
To track? Oh, and then email them and tell them, like, you need
yeah.
Yeah, I used to do that. I mean, for the first 4 years, I did it for my entire team, for everybody. When it was 10 days out, I would send a message to the enroller and say, hey, you're about to miss out on your $100. And I would send a message to the enrollee and say, we used to, when we had the 120 product credit, I would say like, hey, feature 4, you get your 120 product credit, your 2 wrap rewards. So I used to send that to them when it was 10 days out. And I did it daily. So that I actually had an assistant that did it. So she would send messages, because I did it for the whole team every single day. So it would be only sending like 4 or 5 messages, but she did it every single day for the people who were 10 days out from fast starting. But you could probably do it once a week for all the people who were going to, fast start the next week. So it does help to message them, because, especially newbies, like, you get a newbie who actually enrolls several DTs, they forget that there's a 30-day thing. They forget that there's even a $100 bonus that they can get. So I definitely do that. I mean, the worst thing to do is run CAB reports after the end of the month and then see all of the money that was left on the table. My husband is a retail guy. He was in retail management for 20 years, so he loves to run reports, and he runs reports and figures out like how many thousands of dollars were left on the table because people did not fast start people. We've had months it's $15,000 in cabs that we missed because people are not fast starting their people. I mean, we still made 8,000 in cabs or whatever, but there's a lot of people who don't fast start, and that's why I don't hesitate to place under somebody who is signing a lot of LCs, because to me, some DTs start out where they love the product. They were LCs usually. They absolutely love the product, and they're just great at signing loyal customers. They just don't have the belief in themselves as a business person usually to be signing DTs yet. But they will, because I can teach that part. I can help them sign the DTs. To me, it's hard to get somebody to love the product. If they don't believe in the product, they don't believe in the wrap, they don't believe in the hair, skin, and nails, that is, to me, is harder. I can't teach that, but I can teach how to sign a DT, because that's just a confidence thing, and sharing a dream and asking people about what they want in life. It's more of I think it's a personal development thing to sign DTs, whereas signing LCs is just a belief in the product. Any other questions on gens? You guys have like no questions, which is so rare. Normally I'm like hours. If you're totally confused about the chart like this, and like, okay, you're like, my chart's messy, I don't understand the diamonds, like, message me individually. I am happy to like work it through with you. You have to be willing to share with me like actual names and numbers, and believe me, I'm totally private. Like, I'm definitely a vault when it comes to that kind of thing. I've done when we knew our numbers and we trying to figure out whose rank was whose, people shared with me, their so
I'm just like, I need somebody to move in this diamond leg, and it's all me. And that's why I message you. I'm like, I just keep wanting to back out of the build and just go back to my son.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stay with it.
So yeah, I mean, it's really easy to figure out your generationals. That is something you absolutely can figure out yourself. You can figure out your gens, and the calves, you can definitely figure out. I'm no run those a lot of times they'll change the enrollment and the placement, but they will forget because it's a separate thing for them to go fix the coding. Okay, so that coding, is on Org Explorer. You go down to the bottom, you can see who you're coded to for diamond, double, triple. So if you ever have a diamond, and I teach my leaders to do this, if you ever have not a diamond, a DT that gets lost and pulled back, make sure that you verify that the coding on that person is corrected, and then that's the only time I've ever found, because if it doesn't, the coding will stay wrong as people enroll and enroll and enroll and enroll. That coding will continue to stay wrong because the system just duplicates the coding.